I'm going to say something now which many of your viewers probably don't know. And, you know, I myself was against the withdrawal from Gaza in the first place. Ariel Sharon had a real reason for pulling out of Gaza. And I think many Israelis silently agree this was correct. It was painful that we had to pull our people out.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, but while Israel was in Gaza and we had our settlements and everybody said, oh, we're okay, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine, Hamas was digging tunnels underneath the Israeli settlements and underneath Israeli army positions. And we had one very strategic position which got blown to kingdom come by a tunnel, which was underneath. They have these engineers who do these tunnels very accurately. They put a half a ton of dynamite, Hamas, and they blew up this observation post, and 5 Israeli soldiers. By the way, they were Bedouin Arabs. They were Arab Muslims in the Israeli army. They were killed by this explosion. And we knew that they were digging tunnels under our settlements in Gaza. And so Sharon said, listen, if we cannot root out the problem, which means basically a massive war against Hamas, we need to pull out of Gaza because we are indefensible. That was the real reason we pulled out of Gaza. And so I respect Ariel Sharon, even though everyone says, well, he died because he got a brain tumor, no, a brain hemorrhage, because he went against God and gave back the land, and okay. But from a strictly military perspective, Ariel Sharon was right. If you cannot defend the position, you pull out. Now what we see happening in Gaza is that, okay, we pulled out for peace. The Palestinians say, no, you pulled out because you were losing. Weakness leads to more weakness. It's like if you're at the beach and you see a shark coming and you start throwing steaks at the shark. Shark gobbles up the steaks. You think he's going to say, well, you have a nice day. No, the shark is going to have his appetite whetted to come and get you. And so the Palestinians said, well, yeah, they pulled out of Gaza. It wasn't for peace. It was because their situation was untenable. And we're going to make their situation untenable now across the border in Israel. And that's why they built all those tunnels. And we are discovering the tunnels day by day.
You're listening to Avi Lipkin, our good friend. We carry 7 of Avi's books, all 7 of the books that he's written. And we offer them as a package for $79.95. You can check them out at prophecywatchers.com, the online bookstore. The last 2, Islam prophesied in Genesis, Islamic rivalry. It says ISIS and Iran are fighting for the heart of Islamic identity. He writes in a very expert way. If you're confused by what's happening in the Middle East, you would do well to look at these books. Where are we going?
Okay, that's a very good question. We have a saying in Hebrew, translated is, you know, sometimes when you have to accept an agreement that you don't like, you say, we've got to swallow the frogs. And so my son said to me this morning, we have to swallow the frogs. We cannot bomb the heck out of them because they sent 2 missiles. Even if it was Hamas that did it, you have to remember, this is a domino, okay? If we attack Gaza, if we cream them, if we really attack them with all our might, then there's a great possibility that Hezbollah will come from Lebanon and fire its 100,000 missiles at Israel.
Yeah.
And many of them have very strong accuracy. So if we attack Hezbollah in Lebanon, then Syria and Iran will attack Israel. If we attack Syria and Iran, then Russia attacks Israel. So this could lead to World War III. And, you know, I think that President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are in total agreement. We do not want World War III.
So you're talking about a very complex and delicate balance of powers.
Right.
Everything has to be played against everything else.
Right.
From Russia all the way down into the Middle East.
Right. And in fact, I would say one more thing. In spite of the criticisms against Netanyahu, that he's all talk and no action, I would say that the vast majority of Israelis know someone or lost someone in the family to wars over the last 70 years. And the vast majority of Israelis do not want a war under any circumstances with Gaza. Because in the end, we still have to deal with the future of Gaza. And the future of Gaza is, you know, maybe get rid of the Hamas leadership, but it's going to cost a lot of Israeli soldiers' lives and civilian lives from the missiles, the missile barrage. And in the end, we still have to make peace with these people. Either make peace or wipe them out. And of course, the world won't let us wipe them out, and the Jewish conscience won't let us wipe them out. So all we want is that they behave nice. But remember what I said at the beginning of the show, behaving nice is weakness. There is a cultural problem here.
Yes.
And so we want to be nice. We've offered them our help.
One last question. As I'm looking at the Middle East, I'm also seeing other countries. Europe and Turkey are coming together in an alliance, particularly Germany and Turkey. And then you have the Stans, Kazakhstan, and up to the north. And then as you move over through Persia, Iran, eastward, you find that there are a number of groups preparing sort of to head west and involve themselves in the Middle East. Where's this all going? And I know this is a tough question to answer in a brief few minutes, but give it your best.
One of the reasons Turkey is not accepted into the European Union is because you have 300 million, I don't want to say Christians, but you have 300 million non-Muslims in Europe. You have 50 million Muslims. Now, if Turkey joins the European Union, then you'll have 50 million plus 70 million Anatolian Turks, meaning Turkey, so 120 million. But then you have the Stans. The Stans are Turks, and they are all entitled to Turkish passports, which means 200 million former Soviet Turks, 200 million, plus 70, plus 50 is 320 million, and they all become members of the European Union. And so the European Union overnight becomes a Muslim continent. Is that what the Europeans want? The answer is no.
No.
And I believe you're going to see a Trump-type reaction. And many European leaders, which you already see rising up, are against the inclusion of Turkey in the European Union. So the question then is going to be, what's going to be the relationship, a love-hate relationship with the